Friends, if pursuing an MBA from Columbia is your dream, then you are in the right place because in the next 15 minutes, yes, you heard it right. In just 15 minutes, I'll tell you everything you need to apply to Columbia. Forget spending days browsing exhaustive websites because this video has got everything simplified only for you. And hey, if you haven't watched my other videos on the top B schools in the US, you have missed something very important. But don't worry, I have got those links here for you, or you can go to my description box and find those links and watch it later. Now let's dive into Columbia. Like always, I'll start from the very basics and cover it all. We'll go over the program duration, class diversity, GMAT GRE requirements, work experience requirements, application process, key deadlines, fees, fellowship opportunities, and the most important topic, the post-MBA compensation. I'll also touch upon the loan segment because I know for many of you that is very important topic. But remember friends, please do not skip any part of this video because you might end up missing important details. And before we dive in, let me ask you, have you subscribed to this channel yet? No? Then what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button right away and click on the bell icon for the notifications. Also, if you are looking for guidance on how to prepare for GMAT, here is the link for that. And also, if you want to know which Indian B schools accept GMAT or GRE, for that also we have the link. For your convenience, I have included all my previous video links in the description box below. So just go there, search as per your convenience and watch them. So what are you waiting for? Stay with me and let's get started. Let's talk about the program duration. Friends, Columbia offers two types of entries. August entry, which is a 20-month MBA program, and a January entry, which is a 16-month MBA program. What's the key difference? The August entry includes a summer internship, while the January entry doesn't. Interestingly, about 70% of the students choose the August entry, while the remaining 30% of the students choose the January entry. Why? What is the reason? If you are planning to switch the job function or your industry, then a summer internship becomes very crucial to get the relevant experience, and that's where you try your best to enter into the August cycle. On the other hand, if you are planning to stay with the same industry, explore entrepreneurship opportunities, or stay with your family business, then of course you might not need the August entry because you might not need the summer internship, and that's where you choose the January entry. But don't worry, apart from the internship, both the entries are identical. You get the same professors, same curriculum, and same standards of admission. In fact, by the second year, both tracks merge in the fall. At that point, all the students choose from the same electives, access the same career management resources, lead the same clubs, and ultimately graduate together as one class. Now let me share some interesting facts about the class that started recently in 2024. Did you know that 13% of the applicants actually secured admission? That's a pretty decent acceptance rate considering the highly competitive admission process of Columbia. At the same time, if you look at the average GMAT and GRE scores accepted by Columbia, you'll find out the kind of a high standard set by the institute. Friends, whenever we talk about the MBA in the US, the diversity of the class plays an important role. You can see that 46% of the whole class admitted in 2024 comprised of international students who came to the US from other countries, and 44% are women. Isn't that incredible? Friends, Columbia doesn't impose any restrictions on the work experience, but you will see on an average students have 5 years of work experience. This means you will find a diverse mix of recent graduates as well as seasoned professionals in the batch. These students come from a wide range of backgrounds, fostering an environment for peer learning. Interestingly, about 50% of the students have background in business and economics. Similarly, you will notice that nearly 50% of the students have prior experience in financial services and consulting. And I am sure you are now wondering, what should I do to get an admit from Columbia? Well, what if I told you that all you need to do is complete this checklist and you are good to go? Don't worry, I'll explain everything to you. So let's start with the transcript. Columbia requires you to submit scanned copies of your undergraduate and graduate transcripts, if any. Once you get the admission, Columbia wants you to submit the encrypted digital copies of your transcript. If your transcript is in some language other than English, then Columbia wants you to submit the original transcript plus the English translation of the same. You can translate the transcript yourself. There is no need to use World Education Services. However, you need to make sure that there is no discrepancy between the original transcript and the translation which you have provided. Otherwise, your admission will be cancelled. Now let's talk about the GPA. Columbia wants you to report your grade point average exactly as it appears on your transcript. Even if your GPA is not on a scale of 4, do not convert it. Now let's talk about GMAT or GRE exams. Columbia accepts both GMAT and GRE exams in both the modes, offline as well as online. Not only these, but Columbia also accepts executive assessment in both the modes. You can submit your unofficial score with the application, but once you are admitted, you have to submit your official score. Additionally, Columbia accepts both the versions of GMAT, which means the older version which is called GMAT 10th edition and the newer version which is called GMAT Focus edition. Just remember, your score should be valid at the time of submitting the application. Now let's talk about the English language test. International students are not required to submit an English language test such as TOEFL. Your verbal score on GRE or on GMAT is sufficient, and also at the same time you will realize that the interviews will be conducted in English language, so they will anyways test you. Now let's talk about the resume. You need to submit your professional resume or CV ideally in 1 page, but if required in 2 pages at max. Here are a few tips for creating an impactful resume. Mention your academic qualifications and highlight key achievements. Describe your job skills for each role you have held, emphasizing both depth and breadth of your experience. Focus on your leadership and management skills and showcase the growth you have achieved. And finally, make sure to quantify your outcomes and demonstrate the impact you have created. Now let's talk about Columbia's essays. Columbia asks you 2 short answer questions and 3 essays to assess you professionally and personally. However, there's one difference between the August and January cycles. For the August entry, they ask you how you plan to spend your internship period. However, for the January entry, they want to know why you chose an MBA path without any internship. The other questions and essays are same for both the entries. These include immediate post-MBA goal, your short-term and long-term goal, any leadership experiences with examples, and how you will contribute academically, culturally, and professionally in the class. In addition to all these essays and questions, Columbia also gives you an opportunity to write an optional essay in which you can write anything else which doesn't fit anywhere else. This could include details about your personal history or any concerns related to your academic record. I also suggest you check out my video on ISB in which I have talked in length about how to fill the essays. You can find the link here or in the description box below. Now let's talk about the letter of recommendations. Columbia asks you 1 letter of recommendation. If you have up to 6 months of full-time work experience, then you can get recommendation from anyone who can talk about your managerial skills, be it your current employer, your summer employer, or anyone else. However, if you have more than 6 months of full-time experience, then ideally you should get a recommendation from your current employer or current supervisor. But in case you are not able to get recommendation from him or her, you have to give an explanation to the school, and then you can take the recommendation from your former supervisor or anyone who can tell about your managerial skills but should be a senior to you. Just make sure to talk to them in advance because you have to fill their official email IDs in the application, and using that Columbia will contact them. Columbia suggests to fill the recommendations on the official letterhead if recommenders can do that. Columbia has given some guidelines for the recommenders, which I highly recommend you to follow. I also suggest you check out my video on ISB in which I have talked in length about how to fill the letter of recommendations. You can find the link here or in the description box below. Please make sure that your recommenders fill the letter of recommendations before the application deadline, otherwise the application won't be complete. And for the application, the last thing now you need is a credit card to pay $250 for the application fees. In some cases, Columbia waives off the application fees, so I suggest you to check out the eligibility. If you have applied to Columbia in the past and want to apply again within 1 year period, you don't need to apply from scratch, which means you don't need to start a fresh application. However, you'll need to pay the reapplication fees, submit one new recommendation, update certain sections of your application, provide any new transcripts which you may have, and submit GMAT or GRE scores if old scores expired. You'll also need to explain how you plan to finance your MBA now. You'll also need to submit an additional essay explaining how you have improved both professionally and personally since you applied last, along with your immediate and long-term goals. And if you are applying after 1 year, then you have to start a fresh application. Now, if you are shortlisted, Columbia itself will reach out to you for the interview. Please keep in mind that applicants cannot request for an interview. And please make sure to follow the deadlines, which remain almost similar every year. I highly recommend applying in round 1 or round 2, especially in August, and especially if you want to be considered for the scholarship opportunity. Please do not wait for the last minute. Now let's talk about the fees, fellowship opportunities, and the most important part, post-MBA compensation. For August entry, Columbia's total fees for 2 years is approximately $270K. This may vary year on year, so please make sure to check the website for the updated details. However, for the January entry, the fees is little less. It is approximately $260K. Again, it may vary year on year, so make sure you check the website regularly. Please remember that this fees does not include any of your personal expenses. Columbia has given some examples of those, so make sure you check those. Once you are admitted to Columbia, you need to submit a non-refundable tuition deposit to secure your spot. And this deposit will be adjusted towards your first semester fees. Now coming to the financial aid. Columbia offers financial aid to students entering in August as well as in January. However, there's a difference. Students entering in August are eligible for both merit-based as well as need-based awards. However, students entering in January are only eligible for need-based awards. To continue receiving the merit-based awards, students must maintain the satisfactory academic record and also must adhere to the honor code. For need-based scholarship, only adherence to the honor code is sufficient. And one more thing, for the need-based scholarship, as soon as you are shortlisted for the interview, you can apply for that. But the awards are determined based on your financial situation. Now you must be wondering what exactly this satisfactory academic progress is and what exactly this honor code is. So let's start with the satisfactory academic progress. It requires you to maintain a minimum GPA, complete a minimum set of credit hours, and finish the program within the required time frame. The Columbia Business School Honor Code wants you to adhere to the principles of truth, integrity, and respect. Columbia also offers emergency funds to students facing unforeseen financial hardships. So I highly recommend you to review these details carefully so that you should find out whether you are eligible or not. And after investing so much time, efforts, and money, you will be glad to know that the median base salary of the student in Columbia after MBA is approximately $175K annually, which is pretty decent start, and it goes as high as $370K And you will be glad to know that the top employers at Columbia include MBB, McKinsey, Bain, BCG, the Big Fours, and the top financial firms. I have included the link to the 2024 employment report in the description box below. Go and check the same. I also suggest you to go through the FAQs to clarify all your remaining doubts. You can pause the video and check out the link which is visible here, or go to the description box and find the link there. Now let's touch upon the loan facility. Columbia has given some detailed guidelines for you to follow. Columbia has also explained in details what federal loan is, what private loan is, what are the difference between the two, and what exactly you should make sure of. So I suggest you check out this link which is shown here. The same link is in the description box below. Read it thoroughly so that you understand everything. Similarly, Columbia has also provided FAQs which are very detailed for any financial aid and loan facility. I highly suggest you to go through that as well. So friends, I hope you liked the video. If you did, hit the like button and share the same with your friends and family because the video may help them. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon for timely notifications because there are many informative videos and podcasts on the way and I do not want you to miss anything. So stay with me.